Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Josh Mack, and I'm concerned. Do school board members really know their roles and responsibilities? It's a question that always comes to mind. Well, today we're going to be discussing the duties of a public school board member in New York State, and I think it's pretty much similar across the nation. So we'll call this School Governance 101. What is the role of school board officials? Now, whether you're thinking of running for school board in New York State or any other state, or just curious about what board members actually do, in this video, I'll break down the essential duties of an elected school board official and why their role is so important to our school community. School board members in New York State are elected and they serve as the governing body for the school district, right? And their main job is to make sure the district schools are effectively managed, fiscally sound, and delivering a quality education to all the students. Board members serve typically 3 to 5 year term, and in my district, it's a 4 year term. So it depends on the district, and they meet regularly to make decisions that impact students, staff, and the broader community, of course. So their first duty, though, is policy making. First, board members are responsible for establishing district policies, right? And these include rules on student behavior, the code of conduct, curriculum standards, school safety. You should have a school safety team and approach and a plan for that, and hiring practices and equity measures. This is the policies that the school board, these are some of the policies that they're supposed to be establishing. Okay. And you can think of a school board as, setting the big picture or a roadmap for a superintendent and its administration to follow. So you have the school board, they're setting the big picture, and the superintendent and their administrative team are supposed to follow that roadmap. Number two, hiring and evaluating the superintendent. Uh, Perhaps one of the most important decisions a school board will ever make is the decision to hire a new superintendent. This person is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the school district. Board members also evaluate school superintendent's performance annually, and to ensure that there's accountability and the superintendent and their actions and their team is aligned with the district's goals. And so the district has their goals, and they want to make sure that the superintendent, the actions of the team, is aligned with the district goals. And this is how they hold them accountable. Okay. Number three, the budget and fiscal oversight. That's another area of the school board. Board members are stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Okay. So that means they help to develop and approve and monitor the school district's budget, which can be anywhere from tens of even hundreds of millions of dollars. And so they ensure that they're supposed to ensure that resources are used wisely and equitably across all of the schools. So not one school doesn't have more than the other school. Every school has an equitable distribution of resources. And equity meaning that the school has what it needs. Might not have the exact same thing, but it has everything it needs to be successful and succeed in that school. That's a little bit of a twist on equitable. Most people think it means that I got 10,000, you got 10,000. No, it's more of, do we have everything we need to be able to be successful within our school community? Okay. Number four, curriculum and student achievement. All right. While the superintendent and their staff are responsible for being the day-to-day, setting the day-to-day academics, and board members set the tone for the educational priorities. You expect that the superintendent, in most cases, and probably all cases, should be the educational leader of the district and bring in folks who are also educational knowledge of educational leadership. And so while the board members set the tone of the educational priorities, the superintendent and their staff handle the day-to-day academics. And they adopt the curriculum frameworks set by New York State learning standards They set academic goals. This is the school board, and monitor the data to ensure students are meeting the New York State learning standards or the standards for whatever state they're in. So it's very important to understand that the school board not only should be active in adopting the curriculum frameworks set by their region or state, they also should be active in making sure that they're setting goals based on the data, and they're monitoring the data. They have to have access to that data to monitor it and make sure that they're setting accurate goals. Uh, Number five, the school board represents the public. Okay, the school board members represents the voice of the community. In other words, they are expected to be responsive to parents, students, teachers, and local taxpayers. All of these stakeholders are expected. The school board is representing and is a voice for these stakeholders in the community. Okay, they attend public meetings. They should be attending pretty much all of their meetings, with some exceptions. And we all life gets in the way, but pretty much all the meetings. They engage with these constituents. They actually should actually be engaging with the constituents. Some boards tend not to engage, or they allow board constituents to come up and have a 2 or 3 minute written speech, and they don't engage. That's really not the best practice. You really should be human enough to engage with the folks if they take the time to come in. But that's a board decision. And advocate, but they also should be advocating for the needs of the district at the local and state level. So they have to do advocacy, making sure that the funds are there that we need, making sure that we have all the resources that we need. If there's some they need to advocate for more, then they need to make sure they are out lobbying these local and state officials for the resources to help the board and the district to be successful. Number six, legal compliance and ethics. Here's another very, very, very important key area for board members. Board members must ensure that the district follows New York State education law, federal laws, and local policies. Okay, they must uphold ethical standards. They must disclose conflicts of interest. They avoid nepotism and maintain confidentiality when required. And so they shouldn't be picking out who they want to be moving up in different roles. That's the superintendent's purview. But they need to make sure that the superintendent and their team are following fair hiring practices in that process. Now that you heard the six things pretty much that the school board should do and can do, here's what they do not do. Okay, it is important to know this because sometimes there seems to be a fine line or a thin line between do and don't do. So let's be clear. They do not run the daily school operations. I'll say it again. School board members do not run the daily school operations. They do not hire teachers or administrators. They hire the superintendent. And they do not micromanage the administration. Their job is oversight and governance. Oversight and governance, not management. Okay? So if you see a school board that's directing and micromanaging the administration, you'll know right away that board member or those members are working outside of their duties. Okay. Now, if you're interested, there's some training requirements, right? For New York State, everyone requires some basic training. I think there in some instances should be more training, but under New York State law, and then the laws in other states have their own laws. New board members must complete 6 hours of fiscal oversight training and ethics trainings within the first year. Okay. Ongoing development through workshops and conferences is also encouraged through the New York State School Board Associations, and I'm sure the associations in other states have those same workshop requirements or encouragements as well. So there it is, people. So, in conclusion, serving as a school board member in New York is an incredible opportunity, or any state, to shape the future of education for your community. Okay, it requires dedication, collaboration, and a strong sense of civic duty. Okay. Now, if you found this video helpful, like, comment, and share it with someone who might be considering a run for the school board. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more educational focused content that will be coming in the near future. My name is Dr. Josh Mack. I'm concerned. and I'm out.